A video of a young woman from Inner Mongolia looking for a stay-at-home husband recently went viral across China. It even sparked a heated debate between women and men online. This 24-year-old woman, who has a PhD, was seen at a matchmaking corner in Hangzhou. She said she's an only child, owns a house and a car, and earns 5,000 yuan a month. She's looking for a man to marry into her family and help her take care of her parents. The man doesn't need to work, and she would give him 2,000 yuan a month. Their future child would take her last name. She said she doesn't want any bride price. Her only requirements are that the man be at least 170 centimeters tall and in good health. Education level doesn't matter. But her proposal stirred up a storm. Many men were not happy with her terms. One middle-aged man angrily said,
You
shouldn't even bother looking with those conditions. No one will agree. You're basically asking for a male nanny, cooking, grocery shopping, and taking care of your parents for just 2,000 yuan a month, and the house and car aren't even in his name.
Another man, who's usually against the idea of giving bride price to women, also spoke up.
If I'm going to marry into your family, you need to give me a bride price. I need some security. If you dump me after I turn 35, I might not even be able to find a job. Either give me the money or put my name on the house. Otherwise, I'm not interested.
Even a woman standing nearby, who was also looking for a partner, took the men's side. She raised her voice and said, So this is about finding a free male nanny? Anyone here willing to be a free male nanny? This is totally disrespectful to men. It's insulting. Usually, even a housewife gets at least 6,000 or 7,000 yuan a month, if not 10,000. In response to the criticism, several female content creators came forward to support the woman. One of them said, People only feel the pain when it happens to them. Isn't this exactly the kind of deal many men offer to women who become housewives? And a lot of them don't even give 2,000 yuan. Sometimes it's only a few hundred. But when the roles are reversed, suddenly it's a problem? Another female creator said this whole situation is just a mirror. It shows how unfair things are for women. Amid all the online fighting, some people stayed calm. They said that men and women shouldn't be fighting each other. Relationships should be about living together peacefully. There's already enough fear around marriage among young people. No need to make things worse. One older single woman also changed her mind and decided to look for a stay-at-home husband. She said, I really don't want to keep going on blind dates. I've decided to spend 280,000 yuan to get a stay-at-home husband. Or maybe I should say, buy one. Blind dating is getting harder and harder, and the success rate is so low. I've been doing it from my 20s to my 30s. I've probably gone on over 100 dates. None of them worked out. So I'm giving up. I'm going all in. 280,000 yuan isn't a small amount. I don't have strict requirements. The main thing is that he takes care of the family. I want someone to look after the kids and the elderly. I don't care if he has money or not. He doesn't need to be good-looking, just obedient. Once he joins our family, I'll be the one making the decisions. Whatever I say goes. Of course, I won't treat him badly. A 28-year-old wealthy woman from Xi'an also went viral. She owns a plastic surgery business, has 8 apartments, 3 cars, and tens of millions in savings. She says she's looking for a younger man who's never been in a relationship. He should have at least a college degree and be willing to settle down in Xi'an. She said, I like simple, clean boys. Are my standards too much? I'll give him a company, buy him a house and car, and even buy houses and cars for his parents. I'll hire assistants, maids, and drivers to take care of him and his whole family. He doesn't need to do anything. He can just relax. Are my standards really too high? Even though her offer sounded generous, some people compared it to even more attractive conditions offered in Xiaoshan, a district in Hangzhou. One woman in a video said, Want to know where the best stay-at-home husbands go? Come to Xiaoshan. You'll be rich overnight. If you want to marry into wealth and live the dream, Xiaoshan is the place. Every year, 400 families in Xiaoshan look for a son-in-law. Since 2017, 5,854 homes have been demolished for redevelopment. If you marry into a Xiaoshan family, you even get a 70-square-meter resettlement apartment worth 2.1 million yuan. How could you not be tempted? In places like Xiaoshan, there's a long tradition of families finding stay-at-home son-in-laws. These women often pay for the entire wedding, give the husband a luxury home, luxury cars like Cadillacs or Land Rovers, or even offer a large dowry, sometimes tens of thousands of yuan. Some husbands even get involved in running the family business. Many people say that marrying into a Xiaoshan family can save you 20 years of hard work. Why are the women in Xiaoshan so wealthy? Xiaoshan is often called the richest rural area in China. It has a booming private business sector, and most families own assets worth more than 5 million yuan. Villas are common in every household. One famous example is Liu Guanqiu, a farmer from Xiaoshan who started with a small blacksmith shop and turned it into a world-class auto parts company. In fact, he was on the cover of Time magazine back in 1990. But his success was just the tip of the iceberg. Xiaoshan locals are known for their hard work and business skills. Nearly every household owns a factory. So far, 23 people from Xiaoshan have made it into the Who Run Rich list. 3 of them have over 10 billion yuan in wealth. The area also underwent major urban redevelopment, which created a wave of new property owners. Owning 3 or 4 homes is considered normal in Xiaoshan. One video showed a melon farmer's house, 4 floors, redwood furniture, marble interiors, and chandeliers worth tens of thousands of yuan. Because of China's decades-long one-child policy, many families only have one daughter, so the need to bring in a live-in son-in-law has grown. Now, under rising economic pressure, more and more young men are hoping to become stay-at-home husbands in Xiaoshan, but it's not that easy. These wealthy women also have high standards. The owner of a matchmaking agency in Xiaoshan, who has been helping women find stay-at-home husbands for 25 years, shared what kind of men are in demand.
The job must be stable, at least 100,000 yuan a year in income, a college degree or higher. Height must be at least 170 centimeters, no bad habits, a calm temper, no bald heads, no tattoos.
Some people online asked if a man has good looks, a good education, and earns over 100,000 yuan a year, and has a clean background, why would he lower himself to become a stay-at-home husband? Others replied, because he has no money or power. If you want to jump social classes, no matter how hard you work, you may never match the wealth and background of these families. That point seems to be true. The agency boss said more and more men are applying to become stay-at-home husbands. Even though he raised the introduction fee from 1,500 yuan to 15,000 yuan, he still gets 20 to 30 new WeChat contacts daily and over 10 phone calls. The competition is intense. A local female content creator also said,
I
know several men who are stay-at-home husbands, and they're doing really well. Besides good looks and education, their background has to be clean, because wealthy families care a lot about the next generation. Some men can handle their role as a stay-at-home husband and know where they stand, but others can't, and that often leads to divorce. Right now, many young men dream of becoming a stay-at-home husband in Xiaoshan, hoping to turn their lives around and enjoy an easy lifestyle. But that's not how it works.
You think once you marry into a Xiaoshan family, you can just lie back and win? No way. It means you'll need to work even harder. There's no such thing as free money falling from the sky. Xiaoshan people are rich, yes, but they didn't get there by doing nothing. Most Xiaoshan people I know are hardworking, tough, and very frugal. The rich in Xiaoshan don't show off with big gold chains and watches. The richer they are, the harder they work. There's no lie down and win life here.
In the past, men who become stay-at-home husbands in Xiaoshan were usually either lacking in their own conditions or were marrying into extremely wealthy families. Sometimes the bride's family arranged such marriages because their daughter had certain issues and needed a stable arrangement to secure her future. So, is this kind of life really happy? On the surface, being a Xiaoshan stay-at-home husband looks great. Mansions, luxury cars, dowries, seems like a shortcut to a better life. But in reality, it's not that easy. The difference in family backgrounds and the imbalance of power in the marriage can become ticking time bombs. Stay-at-home husbands often face discrimination and even emotional abuse in their wife's family. There are many stories online showing this. One man from Guizhou was kicked out of his wife's house by her family. He left with just his son, daughter, and their dog. The mother-in-law cried and tried to stop him, but his wife just stood there coldly, watching them leave. A month later, she remarried. Even though he worked hard and took care of the family, his wife constantly mocked him. She would say, "You eat my food and drink my water, and you can't even handle a bit of hardship? If you can take it, don't be a stay-at-home husband." Even their kids couldn't take it anymore. In the end, both chose to leave with their dad. The man said, "No matter how hard life gets, I'll never let my son grow up to be a stay-at-home husband." There are even more heartbreaking cases. One man named Xiao Xie had been a stay-at-home husband for 15 years. He worked hard without complaints and even spent 600,000 yuan of his own savings to help his in-laws build a villa. But once the house was finished, they turned against him and tried to kick him out with nothing. When word spread, neighbors came to his defense. One older woman said angrily, "Has been their stay-at-home son-in-law for 15 years. He's honest, hardworking, and always helps the neighbors. Everyone in the village praises him. How could they treat him like this? Don't they fear karma?" At first, the in-laws denied he ever gave them the money, but Xiao Xie pulled out his bank transfer records and they fell silent. Later, he revealed that his wife had already found someone new and he had caught them together. Another man had a fight with his father-in-law. His wife slapped him and told him to get out. Without a word, he rode off alone on his motorcycle at night in the rain. His wife drove after him, trying to make him stay, but he was determined to leave. She later posted a video saying she had forgotten he had still owned his motorcycle and could leave at any time. People online said she probably didn't realize how hard it is for a rural man to be a stay-at-home husband. When his parents pass away, he can't even show up as their son. He's expected to act like a daughter who has married out. That kind of pain is something most men can't bear. She should really cherish him. This kind of unequal marriage often starts with a transactional mindset. The wife's family offers wealth in exchange for the man's obedience. The man gives up autonomy in exchange for resources and a better future. But once the balance of money or emotion tips, the marriage quickly falls apart. That's one reason many men still reject the idea of becoming a stay-at-home husband. One reporter did a street interview asking men if they would consider being a stay-at-home husband. Only one of them said yes. Of course, there are also wives who truly care for their husbands. One man from Hunan had a fight with his mother-in-law, who told him to get out. The next morning, he found his wife sitting outside the door holding their child. She had stayed up all night, afraid he would leave. Seeing that, his anger melted away. Another wife stood up for her husband fiercely. When her sisters and parents ganged up on him, she shouted, "Why are you yelling at my husband? I'm telling you, even if he's a live-in son-in-law, I won't let anyone bully him in front of me, not even my own parents. If you're unhappy, yell at me, hit me, but don't touch my husband. I don't care what happens in other families. As long as I'm here, no one will lay a hand on him." People online praised her and said, with a wife like this, no matter how hard life gets or how much hardship he suffers, it's all worth it. Not every stay-at-home husband lives a miserable life. Some are lucky enough to join families that treat them fairly. They know their role and live peacefully with their wives. One man in Shaoshan quit his job to stay at home and take care of the kids. His mother-in-law rewards him with 10,000 yuan every month. Times have changed, and so have the kinds of men who become stay-at-home husbands. Unlike in the past, when these roles were often taken by men with little education just looking for a way in, today many of them are highly intelligent, well-educated, and have high incomes. Some are even graduate students who have studied overseas. These men often have a say in family matters after marrying in, because the women they're marrying are also strong, capable, and successful, so their expectations are higher too. The head of a matchmaking agency said the youngest woman registered with his service is 26. Most of the women are highly educated, many with graduate degrees, and have stable careers. These marriages are becoming a kind of win-win partnership. The men gain access to the women's networks and resources, and in many cases, the women even fund their husbands' startups. In Xiaoshan, this has become a trend. Many son-in-laws now hold key roles in large companies, and some are even being groomed to take over. For example, Lu Guanqiu, the founder of Wanxiang Group, has a son-in-law named Ni Pin. He holds a doctorate from a top university and is an expert in capital markets. Under his leadership, Wanxiang completed more than 30 overseas acquisitions, becoming one of the first Chinese private companies to buy publicly listed firms abroad. Ni Ping is now the executive vice president of Wanxiang Group. In traditional Chinese culture, the glue that holds marriages together isn't just love, it's a sense of duty or gratitude. This means taking responsibility for one another. A man feels he must take care of his wife for life, even when she grows old. A woman, in return, believes in fully respecting her husband, caring for his parents, and managing the household. This kind of partnership may seem old-fashioned, but it gave marriages a kind of lasting strength that goes beyond romance. Though this idea was nearly wiped out during the Cultural Revolution, it still survives in the hearts of older generations. One woman gave a heartfelt answer to a young man at a matchmaking event. He had asked,
听我说，我问你什么？你对于我提出来的一个观点啊，听我说完啊。
I think marriage should be fair. If you ask for a bride price, you should also prepare a dowry. Is that wrong?
It's not wrong, but I don't like hearing that. When people date, women shouldn't be asking for 200,000 yuan in bride price. It's like saying, I'm worth this much. That's basically selling yourself. If you love someone and you're willing to give her a lifetime of love, then that's worth far more than money, right? A lifetime of love is priceless. A man should have responsibility and courage. A woman should love him for life. That I respect.
She's right. Why would I argue with her? That was a real lesson.
An older man also chimed in. He said that back in his day, choosing a partner was simple. As long as the person had a good character and a job, that was enough. But today, things are different. He explained why many younger men no longer pursue women.
男生不追女生了，你没发现？为啥不追女生了？因为你是男生的，为什么不追女生？
Why don't guys chase girls anymore? Because they already have so much pressure. Job pressure, mortgage pressure, the pressure of supporting a family. On top of that, they're expected to pay a bride price and constantly please the other person. It's too much. That's why they've given up. People's expectations are out of sync. You've got something worth 100, but you're asking for 150. Some women want everything: house, car, high income, good looks, and parents with pensions. Each thing on its own might not be a high bar, but together it's a lot. Women often only want to marry up. They won't consider men who are beneath them. But men, they're fine marrying down. A guy with a master's or PhD might still be okay marrying a girl with just a college diploma. That's the difference.
It seems that many young people today are afraid of marriage. Divorce rates are high. A major reason could be the collapse of traditional values. People have lost that inner belief in what marriage is really about. These days, too many see marriage as a cold transaction, focused only on gains and losses. But a marriage like that, so full of calculation, is like a tiny boat in a storm. It may never make it to shore because even the smallest wave could tip it over. So, what do you think about the idea of becoming a stay-at-home husband?